U.S. Air Force Captain Andrew Olson is joining me. Call sign Dojo. Am I allowed to call you Dojo? Is my
Yeah,
security
absolutely.
clearance at the right level?
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you get that?
So the official response is you have to buy me a beer to find out. But it's a long story. I can talk about kind of how call sign namings work, but your peers pick it for you. And it's usually a story of something that you did that was either a funny story or a mistake or something that you made as a lieutenant. So it's a long, kind of boring story, but it's not about karate. I can tell you that.
Okay. So you are going to be in the Pacific Air Show coming up in Huntington Beach,
Yeah.
flying the F-35 Lightning, only one of 5 demos happening in the U.S. this year. Tell me about that aircraft.
Yeah, it's an incredible airplane. It's a 5th-generation airplane, which means it's the latest and greatest, and it's the most advanced fighter jet in the world. And what makes it a 5th-generation fighter jet is its combination of stealth and sensor fusion. And really, in short and succinctly put, it means that you see everybody. Other people have trouble seeing you if they see you at all, and you are just able to complete your mission out there at will. And do whatever you need to do to get your jet out and back home and support the entire air fight out there.
How does this compare to other aircraft you've flown?
So I flew the F-15 Strike Eagle before this, and just as the 5th-generation name implies compared to the 4th-generation F-15, it truly is an entire generational leap forward in technology. So it's really no comparison. The speed and agility of fighters are somewhat similar between the eras, but even that is on a whole different level. And that's what the public is going to see at the air show out of the F-35 is they're going to see the maneuverability, the power, the speed, and the precision of the F-35. And, they're going to really enjoy the performance out there. But they need to remember that the really cool things about the airplane, you're not going to see out there at the air show because the stealth and the sensor fusion piece are things that are classified and things that really you can't demonstrate at an air show. But they're going to be blown away by the maneuverability of the airplane.
What should they look for when the F-35 Lightning comes out compared to other aircraft?
Yeah, so for sure, it will be the loudest airplane out there. You will feel the power from the afterburner produced by the Pratt & Whitney motor that's in that thing. It's the most powerful engine ever put in a fighter jet. So they will feel the power and the noise coming out of that afterburner. It is going to be a very fast airplane just below the speed of sound, and it would easily go right through the sound barrier, but then I'd probably be fired if I did that. And they're going to see, I think, over kind of the moisture-laden area over there by the water, they're going to see a lot of vapor coming off of the jet. So the cloud is going to be making its own – the airplane is going to be making its own cloud as it flies through the sky, and that cloud is going to condense the water vapor out of the air into visible moisture, and then as soon as the jet passes that piece of sky, the cloud is going to evaporate right back into blue sky again. So they're going to see a lot of water vapor around the cloud as around the jet as it speeds and carves through the air.
So this is the F-35A. I'm looking at your bio. Since 2016, you've been an instructor pilot for this aircraft. Put into words, if you could, the instructions, literally the instructions that you give to student pilots when talking about this aircraft compared to others that either you were used to or that they have become accustomed to flying.
Yeah, it's a very grueling course, and when they come to us, they're already winged aviators, so they certainly are very skilled at taking off and landing and flying in instruments and flying in formation positions and all of that. So we teach them from the very basics of takeoff and land, which takes just a couple sorties, and by the end of the course, they are ready to deploy and employ the F-35 as a weapon system. Should they be called on to do so. And it's a very steep learning curve for the students, but we're getting the absolute best and brightest out there. And it's really a testament to them on how quickly they can pick up the airplane. There's only one seat in there. So when they fly it for the first time, they're in there all by themselves. And it's really nice when we have students that come right out of pilot training, the 23-year-olds that have never flown anything previously, because unlike me, they don't bring their 4th-generation fighter habits into the 5th-generation world, where a lot of those old habits of what I used to do in the F-15 just don't apply anymore. in a stealth fighter jet. So it's great to get the guys that are brand new, just got their wings, and they go out and fly the F-35, and they know nothing else other than F-35. They become really effective tactical aviators.
What were some of the things that you had to break yourself of habit-wise, F-15 to 35?
So, I mean, I think some of it is when we flew in the F-15, we flew within visual range of our wingmen. So I'd be out there as a four-ship, and I could see all my wingmen, and I could see exactly where they were. In F-35 land, we are nowhere near our wingmen. I mean, we are miles apart from each other. So we don't have that close-in visual support that we used to have, and it's just because the airplane is so smart, we don't need to be doing that anymore. We don't need to be watching each other's back anymore because we have sensors to do that for us. And then also the fact that you remain undetected when you fly around. So whereas in the F-15 there were situations where maybe I was outnumbered, maybe I didn't want to stick my nose into a fight, maybe I just wanted to turn around and let my weapons kind of do the work for me behind me. Whereas in the F-35, when you're not detected, you don't want to turn around. You just want to keep going down track and remaining undetected as you weave your way through whatever's out there to get to whatever your ultimate objective is. So very different, tactically speaking.
More than 2,000 flight hours under your belt, nearly 500 of those in combat. Any of those in the F-35? Has the F-35 seen combat?
Oh, absolutely. It's deployed right now. And the Air Force and Marine variant have been into combat. The Navy one, not yet, but it'll be ready pretty soon here. So yeah, the F-35, as we speak, is deployed in combat operations. I have flown about over 600 hours in the F-35. And it's all been in an instructor role. And my combat time was in the F-15. And at the end of my F-15 assignment, they were looking for experienced instructors in that airplane to switch over to the F-35 and learn it and then teach new guys. So all my hours in the F-35 have been in an instructor capacity, which is incredibly rewarding to pass on all the lessons learned that I gained in the F-15.
In this era of drone warfare, having a human actually fly these aircraft rather than just having a drone, just the importance and the weight and the responsibility that comes with.
Yeah, there's a lot of decisions that the human makes, make in the airplane that would be really, I mean, the nuances of the human decision-making process would be, at this stage of the game, nearly impossible, I think, to code into a autonomous drone. I mean, there's just so many little nuances between the time of day and the sun angle and the clouds and the winds and what kind of adversaries are out there that the human interaction in a modern day battle is still absolutely necessary. Someday in the future, and I don't even know how long that would be, we may be able to get the human out of the loop, but right now we can't. That's not to say that drones don't play an important role, of course. They do very well in the surveillance and reconnaissance role, where you can just stick them out somewhere, let them fly for like 24 hours, stuff that I would never want to do anyway, flying for 24 hours, and then just load them up with really great sensors and really great cameras, and just take a peek at whatever they're trying to do. So, I mean, the drones are obviously very integral to the modern day battle space, but the human element and the instinctiveness and the training that goes into a modern day fighter pilot is really irreplaceable. I mean, and it's kind of shown, it's proven by the fact that we obviously have a brand new fighter coming out and it's still manned.
Take us back, if you could, to your Airshow experience as a spectator. What stood out to you over the years? What aircraft really kind of checked a lot of boxes for you?
Yeah, I remember being, kindergarten, 4 or 5 years old, I guess, in Guam at Andersen Air Force Base. And I remember watching the F-15 demo there. And just remember being blown away, super inspired. And it really solidified for me what I wanted to do. As a 2-year-old, I saw Top Gun, and that was pretty much it, but seeing it in an air show made it real.
Let the record reflect you said Top Gun before I did. Okay.
Yeah. So, but seeing it in person makes it real, and it really inspires you to live your best life, and when we go out there and do our demonstration, if people are inspired to live their best life in the military or specifically in the Air Force, great. And if not, we hope you go out there and do something amazing. But certainly watching, I think, an air show like that really inspires people. And that's primarily what our mission is out there on the road. But it is cool to be out there doing it, not only to get to fly the F-15 that I saw when I was, just a few years old, and then being able to really just pay it all back and go on the road with this amazing airplane and showcase it to the American people, to the American public, is a very lucky, very privileged thing that I'm able to do, and it's just really been a dream come true to be able to do that.
We're talking with Air Force Captain Andrew Olson, call sign Dojo. Buy him a beer, he'll tell you what that means. You spent a lot of time kind of bouncing around Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, but the last few years you've spent time in Arizona. How's Luke AFB treating you?
Oh, I love Luke. And again, I love the mission of training the guys and gals flying this airplane, and also all our international partners. Luke's an interesting place in that many of our friends around the world have this airplane as well. So I've trained and flown with Italians, Norwegians, Australians, the Dutch, on and on. So it's been really fun being there. And I also love Phoenix. If you can stand the heat, it's a great place.
The F-35, this is the only plane that you've flown in demonstrations?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's right. And it's and also this is our first year. This is our inaugural season as the F-35 demonstration team. So a lot of people have never even seen the F-35, but if you have happened to see it at an air show in the past, we were just kind of introducing it. We were doing more benign maneuvering. This is our first year in the full aerobatic demonstration. That's just an absolute rage fest to watch out there. And this will be the first time that it's been in California at this upcoming the Great Pacific Air Show. So we just are completely stoked to be showing it off at that show.
Is it just the one F-35?
We are a single ship demonstration team, and the point of those, as opposed to flying with a team of airplanes out there, is that when you're just a single ship, you can really max perform the airplane and just absolutely show its maximum performance envelope. Whereas, if you're in tight formation with other airplanes, you're not quite as maneuverable. So our goal is to be out there and show the F-35 everything that it can do, how slow it can go and how fast it can go and how hard it can turn and everything in between. But when we're done with our demonstration, which is about 15 minutes, then we will rejoin with what we call the heritage flight. So I will be out there flying with a P-51 Mustang from World War II, and then we will be in close formation. And the P-51 will be leading my jet around. And it's a really cool event just for vets or just anybody that is an aviation enthusiast to be able to see those two airplanes that are, 70, 80 years apart flying together to pay tribute to the past, present, and future of Air Force air power as part of the heritage flight.
Any of the Thunderbird pilots come knocking on your door like, hey, why don't you let me in that thing, huh?
A lot of them would like to fly the F-35 when they're done with their Thunderbird assignment. I mean, that's honestly so. But we're all friends. We're on the same team, and it's always an honor to be on the road with them. But I mean, you got a stacked lineup at that Great Pacific Air Show this year between the Thunderbirds, the Red Arrows, the Snowbirds, 2 demo teams. I mean, honestly, I haven't seen an air show this stacked before. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's going to be incredible.
U.S. Air Force Captain Andrew Dojo Olson, thank you, sir, for your service, and good luck out there. We'll see you on the beach.
Okay, thanks.